Hello and welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton, and today on the podcast, I'm joined by our Lothario lawyer, Derek Kaufman.
Good to be back in the seat. I think Neff adjusted the levels on this thing a little bit. I got to get warmed up.
I know, man. It's good to have you back. Yeah, Charlie Neff is on vacation, so you're joining me today. And I
Do I
want
have to do her voice or anything like that?
Can you do her voice?
To make everyone feel comfortable?
That is creepy, man. That is creepy. I got you in today because we want to talk Diddy. The walls are closing in on him now. Federal investigators have convened a grand jury in the Diddy case.
Big development. And on the heels of an article that came out, which is, I would say, not that flattering. Not the kind of piece you want in Rolling Stone.
Yeah, Rolling Stone did a big piece on him, and it's not looking good for him. Jason Kelce and his wife have had an interesting couple days because Kylie was verbally abused by someone seeking a photograph with the couple. And also, Jason has had to jump to her defense because people are coming for her saying she's a homemaker, la la la.
Yep.
So they've just had an interesting couple days, that couple. The Ohio billionaire is taking another submarine down to the Titanic site. Have we not learned our lesson?
Unbelievable. Another billionaire is like, you know what? I need to take a close look at something I've seen in a movie 50 times.
I do not get it. And finally, in our almost news, we're gonna welcome a new member of the Kardashian family onto social media.
It's a big test. The next generation. I've got a lot of thoughts on this.
Okay, very good. But to begin with, Diddy. It's not been a good couple days for him. It's not been a good 6 months for him. So Rolling Stone just put out an article where they talked to 300 plus people in his world, and they managed to interview 50 former friends, acquaintances, and employees. And
it's fascinating that 250 were like, nah, I don't want any part of this smoke. Either I got a good thing or I'm not going to trash him. I don't want to speak to the media, but they did shake out 50 people. It's a lot of people.
And basically the message that, comes through the article is that Diddy had like a Jekyll and Hyde type sort of like dark side and good side, that when you didn't see him often, the dark side might be appearing.
Yeah, this makes perfect sense. It does. It paints this picture of this guy who can be incredibly charismatic and charming. This is the Diddy we all saw publicly, right? And in order to run an empire as big as Bad Boy, you have to have that side.
Right.
I don't think the Jekyll and Hyde story is all that uncommon. I think it's very, very common. I think Harvey Weinstein had a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde persona. When he was out, yes, he was a little bit scary and big, but he would also hug and glad hand and go to the Oscars, and everyone had to kiss the ring. Diddy was the same way. He was a mogul, and every artist wanted to work with Diddy. So the Jekyll side, the nice side, is very, very common. It's the Hyde part that everyone is interested in now, where he would become this abusive monster, according to, the 50 people that they're talking to who are telling these stories of him just viciously beating women. And now that we have seen that Cassie video, you see a report like this. That's for Rolling Stone, who's been working on this for 6 months, sees that video come out a couple weeks ago, and they're like, well, this is going to be good because it's all going to line up with what you're seeing in that video, which is that he one time had to be pulled off of a woman he was beating so badly by other staffers. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Harvey going so crazy that Jason and I had to come in and tear him off somebody?
Cannot. I cannot. And Harvey's a small man as well, so it probably wouldn't take much to
But a little terrier,
Right. But yeah, it's just crazy because he so adamantly denied the Cassie stuff, and then we saw some proof of it. Now we look at all of these allegations as they are right now, and I'm inclined to sort of believe them.
Yeah, I want to be careful here. I wouldn't believe all 50 people. Look, the people who talked to Rolling Stone, the 50 out of the 300 that they reached out to, are a subset of people that may have an axe to grind. Some may just want to get it off their chest and be telling the truth. Others may want to sort of pile on and add false allegations. We don't know, and neither does Rolling Stone, frankly. They're listening to narratives, and they go through their process that we go through in vetting a story, so they felt comfortable running this. They're kind of comfortable, I think, in some part because Diddy's under such assault. He's embattled in so many ways that he's not going to sue over a Rolling Stone article right away unless he's totally exonerated. But what I think is sort of happening is just the walls are just closing in. Like, you look at I think of Diddy and Suge as the two pillars of gangster rap back in the day. That
And
was what I grew up.
gangster rap.
I was a big fan of it. That was what I listened to in high school. So those are the two guys. And Diddy was always like had the veneer of polish. He was the businessman. He was the happy one dancing in the videos and so forth. And Suge was outwardly menacing. Like he wasn't like glad handing. Everything he said came with kind of an implicit threat or some sort of growling. And now I look at them totally differently. I see this guy as a total like velvet glove Godfather assassin, right? I mean, he was so nice, but he was like really just doing some pretty awful things according to what came out in this article.
So he's alleged to have pummeled a record label executive who started dating his ex Kim Porter. He was not great to Kim Porter even when they like broke up, tried to get her back. Actually, something that is written in here that I thought was kind of cute.
What, the J-Lo part?
No, is that he sent is this J-Lo? No, this is Kim Porter. Oh, no, this is J-Lo part.
Yes, when he tried to get J-Lo back, he sent out people he hired to go hold signs outside of TRL.
Oh, yeah, that's like
Carson Daly.
That's like Love Actually.
It's a little Love Actually, a little Say Anything, sort of standing there with a boombox. Yeah, it's this is the sweet side, but it's also, this is also the shape of abusive relationships, right? You like go too far and then you try to win her back, and there's a bit of a cycle that goes on.
Hot and cold.
Hot and cold. And look, he's very, very charming. He was very handsome back in the day, certainly. And all of this sort of makes sense to me. I do remember when he broke up with J-Lo after the shooting in the club and all that kind of stuff, that tumultuous relationship. He did try to win her back. There was some media talk even at the time that he didn't want to like let J-Lo go. That was the love of his life. She eventually moved on, had several husbands. Now maybe going to divorce a fourth one.
Right.
But anyway, like so it's interesting. I want to talk about the timing of all this with what is going on in actual criminal land, which is the grand jury has now convened. We know that they did the big raid on his house in Miami. They collected what they collected. Some people think they collected that video that ended up coming out. We don't know the source of that Cassie video, but they've got a lot of information. They've talked to a lot of witnesses. We've heard Cassie cooperated. They got the quick plea deal with Brendan Paul, the alleged drug mule, who may have also talked to get that sort of sweetheart deal that he got. So they've amassed their information. They're going to the grand jury. They impanel a grand jury, and the prosecutors are going to present a one-sided case of let's bring these charges against Diddy. This is now the witnesses are going to be called. They're going to tell their story. It's looking bad. If there's enough evidence that they've gathered from sort of the raid and the witnesses, grand juries would tend to indict. Prosecutors only bring a grand jury together because it's very embarrassing to impanel them and not have enough to charge. So some charges might stick. This could get very, very hairy for Diddy very quickly.
Yeah, it seems so. Okay, on to our next story. Jason Kelce's wife, Kylie, had to confront a rude fan while they were on vacation. So they were out to dinner one night on the Jersey Shore. They were going to Steve and Cookie's, this restaurant, and a woman...
On a little date night.
It sounds cute. Jason's there wearing his flip-flops out for a nice date night. And this is what happened. This is what went down when a fan came up to them and asked for a photo. They politely declined, and then this video cuts in.
Middle of the street you are. You'll never be allowed in this town. You'll never be allowed in this town. Say it. You're embarrassing yourself. Middle of the street you are. You'll never be allowed in this town. You'll never be allowed in this town.
So if you didn't catch that,
you'll never be allowed in this town. I love when they drop stuff like that.
That's what the fan, I guess she's not a fan anymore, but that's what the fan said to Kylie. And then Kylie fires back, I can smell the alcohol on your breath. You're embarrassing yourself. While Jason stands sort of idly by in his flip-flops.
This is like a sort of feisty mama bear protecting her cubs kind of attitude, because Jason, the big dude, is off there to the side. I think he is doing the right thing. I don't think he wants to get involved in a physical confrontation with a woman who may or may not have had too much to drink or whatever. That doesn't go well for Jason, so he's off to the side. But Kylie's interesting to me because of the big four, let's call them Taylor, Travis, Kylie, and Jason. Kylie is the one who is the most, to me, authentically in it for the right reasons. She didn't ask for any of this hoopla. She married a football player who was not a massive celebrity. She
Right.
married just a big center. And I think she probably wanted a roughly normal life where she could have a date night without some lady, possibly a drunk lady, coming up and being like, let me get a selfie because I like Taylor Swift and you're
Right.
associated with her. And she got a little upset. I think Kylie is probably the least happy with the development of their life towards this whole massive celebrity, where now the podcast is huge and Travis is huge and Jason, by association with Travis, is also getting huge. And she probably doesn't need this. They're very rich without it. He's had a long career in the NFL. He's retired. She probably wants a little quiet life.
And it's the public scrutiny online and in real life that would get annoying, especially if you didn't ask for it.
Yes.
Like someone like her. Like Jason has been forced to defend her against trolls. So Jason had said he disagreed with some of what Harrison Butker had to say. And then someone came at him saying, well, your wife is a homemaker and your home's a mess.
Using that as an insult.
Your home's a mess.
She's a homemaker and doesn't even do that job well.
You're right.
Man.
And so he took to social media to reply saying, I don't think of Kylie as a homemaker. I think of her as my wife. I think of her as a mother. She has an occupation, as do I. We keep our house the best we can. He says, though, but
he sort of conceded that it's a little messy.
He says we have 3 kids,
Of
you know,
course.
3 young kids. He says our marriage is a partnership. We're equals who are figuring it out on the daily. I got to say, I could take it or leave it with Travis Kelce. Like, I'm not a massive fan of him.
Same.
But I really love Jason Kelce, and now I'm like starting to really warm to his wife too.
I totally agree. He's very grounded. This is like this is a textbook perfect response that he laid down, which is like, yeah, we got 3 kids. Houses get messy. You have a kid. I have 2 kids, and he's like, I think of her as my mother and my co-equal. I like his attitude.
It's weird if he thinks of her as his mother.
Oh, sorry.
That would be. What is that? Oedipus?
I know.
What is that?
You don't ever call you don't ever say mama to Aaron?
No.
Mamacita?
Mamacita. Maybe I will, and we have some roses.
Oh, Mamacita? No, but he's like, this is the mother of my kids. This is my partner. We're co-equals, even though obviously he's the big football player who earned a bunch of money. He's like, he doesn't lord it over her. I like them a lot.
I like them a lot.
I'm with you. And on the sympathy scale, I have sympathy for her having a reaction like this because she doesn't seem like she's chasing celebrity in the same way that Travis kind of does to me.
Yes.
Taylor certainly is just massive. And Jason is somewhere in the middle. I think he kind of likes that his podcast has gotten very big, but he's also managing these 2 worlds, I think, pretty well.
Okay, so there's a new submarine going down to explore the Titanic. This billionaire, Larry Connor, wants to take his new sub that costs $20 million down 2.3 miles to prove that it's doable. He wants to reignite the industry. They want to explore the Titanic, and he wants to take his co-pilot with him, the guy that helped design it. This is a year on now from the first, maybe the only, but is it the only submarine that's exploded like that?
No, other subs have exploded. This is the most famous one, going down to the Titanic.
They want to do it all again. They want to run it back. What do you think about this?
I don't understand it at all. We have seen the wreckage of the Titanic. This is purely a spectacle to re-energize the industry. When that submersible imploded, by the way,
Nice.
The opposite of exploding, but when it imploded, it was talked about as the carbon fiber wasn't strong enough for repeat visits, so it would weaken over time, and then if there's a small weakness, it implodes. You can definitely build these with reinforced steel and other compounds that will withstand the voyage, and this is okay. I want to know why, when you're a billionaire, you want to go down and look through a portal this big, the size of like an orange, and look at some, algae-covered wreckage that we have all seen. James Cameron went down there after Titanic. He's a real submersible guy, and he went down there and he showed it in beautiful 4D. I've seen what the Titanic looks like.
Fine.
Hey, cool. The railings are there.
You got to poop in front of your friend for 4 days.
It's unbelievable.
Eat
I
crap
find
food.
nothing. Yeah, he's like, oh, you're really in touch. This guy says it's really magical and can change your life. Maybe. So space travel is more appealing to me than going to the depths of the ocean. Who cares, man? It's a ship down there, and I saw when Leo was on it.
Right.
I don't care.
I don't care either.
I think this is like the risk of a possible implosion when you're a billionaire and you're just like, oh, man, why did I do this? Boop, done. You're gone.
You're gone.
And it's like, why?
It's
like you prove
I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
Onto our almost news
But
segment
best
now.
of luck. I'm not wishing
But
them
best
to
of luck.
implode.
I hope it all goes well. Hope you have a great trip.
Take lots of pictures, poop in a bucket. Go ahead.
Yeah. Onto our almost news segment. Kim Kardashian is telling fans to go follow Mason Disick on Instagram. So he's 14 now. He's spent years out of the spotlight by choice.
Yeah.
Like
Courtney
Courtney's
wasn't
talked
into it.
about it. He's not into it. He didn't want any part of it. He didn't want to be on the show. He didn't want to be on their social media. Well, now he's 14 and he kind of likes it.
You know what happened? Puberty,
What?
dude.
Puberty.
And like he now is probably into either girls or boys. I don't know his sexuality, but he's interested in probably
Showing off?
showing off in some way and using the Kardashian name. He's a Disick, but he's in the Kardashian family to be cool, right? I mean, this is huge social currency. So he puts this thing up. He already has, when I counted, 650,000 followers.
Right.
It's probably way above that now. And, you know, Kim used her leverage. She's got the hundreds of millions of followers and said, hey, follow Mason. He's my nephew and he's 14. And so this is a true test case. Does the next generation, which is diluted version of the Kardashian family, have the goods? I want to go on record saying no. I don't think they do.
Sorry, kids.
I think they are too coddled and privileged to be at all relatable. What was great about the Kardashian family is Robert Kardashian was associated with O.J. Simpson, but that family wasn't huge. Remember, they had the like crappy little Dash store. They were kind of figuring things out. Now they're massive, and the show is less popular. Once everyone is a billionaire or close to it, what's the interest in
Right.
following Mason Disick? I can't relate to Mason Disick. The guy wears big Jinko pants, and he's
Yeah.
like, you know, so rich beyond his wildest imagination. Probably has caviar for breakfast. Why do I want to watch that?
Yeah, I mean, Northwest, she's the Kim Kardashian of the next generation.
She's a little relatable because she's a crappy singer. I mean, I know she's 10 years old, but she wasn't good.
She wasn't good.
Wasn't good in The Lion King. I'm sorry.
When will you let your kids get social media?
It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
She's not interested in it yet. I think Carter will probably ask for it earlier than Nixie.
Really?
Yeah, because Nixie's sort of a bookworm, and I'm not sure if Carter's going to read.
Okay.
So I think he might want to scroll on Instagram.
Shout out to Carter.
No, he'll get there. But no, I think a little while because this is just starting. He has a couple posts up. It gets bad really quick.
Yeah.
It gets bad from my perspective.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me here today, Derek.
This was fun.
And we'll see you guys here tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thanks, guys.